Howdy, it's Brudda Zen, yo brudda from a different mudda, bringing you the next Take 10 with Zen. Today's message from the Big Kahuna is going to be around what we can do when we're feeling helpless. And it seems that the feeling of helplessness is kind of in two categories. The first is what we can do around helplessness when it has to do with us and what's going on in our lives. And then also, of course, when we're feeling helpless about what's going on in other people's lives. So first what we'll look at is kind of getting to the root of where helplessness comes from. And it feels and seems like helplessness is rooted in the feeling of being out of control. And where does that feeling of out of controlness really come from? You know, I think that we have this belief that we're supposed to be in control of everyone around us. You know, have this kind of mentality that we're conditioned with, that we're supposed to make everyone happy and everyone healthy. And when we take all that on, all that is out of our control, and so that kind of stresses us out just a little bit. I mean, because even if I was this massive motivational type speaker who could influence people to try to make them feel happy, they could still choose not to be happy, and that is way out of my control. I can't get in there and force them to choose to be happy. Same thing as if I was a doctor, which, disclaimer, I am not a doctor, but if I was the most amazing doctor in the world, the other person could still choose not to heed my advice or to take the medication that I give them. Also, if I gave them medication, their bodies might not even respond or react to the medication that I'm assuming would help them and heal them. So all that is outside of my control completely. And all of that brings me to the second awareness. And that could be that I'm living with a mentality of that life happens to me instead of life happens for me. And that I can change for myself, because I've kind of developed this belief in my life that I come here on purpose. You know, I'm this powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit being made of unconditional love. And I come here to experience my opposites, you know, what it might feel like to be less than, to be impacted, to be alone, to really experience all these uncomfortable emotions that are rooted in fear. You know, the helplessness feeling, the anxiety feeling of fear, you know, when we get anxious, when we get angry, when we feel sad, you know, all those delicious emotions we come here to experience are our opposite. And when I experience those, so when I experience sadness, then I can understand happiness more. When I experience fear, I can experience what it feels like to not have fear, to feel large and big. So all of those emotions I come here to experience on purpose. So life is happening for me, not to me. So we come here really to pretend what it might feel like to be all those things. So when I'm in these emotions of helplessness or any of the others, I kind of have a love energy type practice that I try to do to help bring me back to the center of the storm instead of being out there doing flip-flops and somersaults in the middle. So I'm going to go through that with you right now. So the first thing I do is I try to get in a quiet place where I won't get distracted by too many things. And I calm myself, and I do that through some breathing, because whenever you're in that fight or flight mode, just taking some deep breaths in through your nose, holding it for a moment, a few seconds, and just exhaling out through the mouth, that actually helps slow the heartbeat. It gets that adrenaline exiting our system as we give our bodies more oxygen and kind of just come to this calm place. And then when I'm in that calmness, then I focus on the Creator. And I just close my eyes and just picture this huge sea of white, unconditional love energy just being above me. And then I reach up and poke it with my finger, which allows it to start cascading down into my heart and into my body. And I just feel that love just fill me up, and it just gets more and more and more. And as it's filling me up, I just start to say the words in my mind if there's people around me and I don't want to, freak them out or distract them, or I feel uncomfortable. But if I'm alone, then I say the words, I am unconditionally loved. And I just keep saying those words. And I say them like I mean them. And I say them like I believe them. I am unconditionally loved. And I picture just that flow to continually fall down into me. And as I do that, I become aware that I have nothing to fear. I have everything I really need right here inside of me, inside of my heart. And when you realize that I can never lose unconditional love because there's no conditions, it just really hits you. And I also realize that I can't gain any more of it because I have 100% of it already. It's unconditional. So I can't lose it. I can't gain more of it. I just forget sometimes for a moment that I am unconditionally loved. When I get distracted out into the shiny things of the world, I might forget for a moment. But I can always come back to this, always come here right now and feel that. So that's the first part of it. Then, sitting in that calmness, I suddenly start just to get bigger and bigger and fuller and fuller. And it's in those moments that I realize not only am I enough with this love, I'm more than enough with this love. And then the words start to change from I am unconditionally loved to I am myself unconditional love. Nothing of this world can take me away from me. I can only distract myself. I can only be distracted away from that love when I look out here for what defines me instead of in here for what defines me. And in that, I've actually have come up with this spice cake mantra that has kind of developed in my life, and that is, I am my own spice cake. I am enough. The love of others, of family and friends, that's the frosting on top of the spice cake. And those things that I accomplish out there, those are the kind of the cherry on top of the frosting on top of the spice cake. And those intimate relationships I have, those are the whipped topping on top of the cherry, on top of the frosting, on top of the spice cake. And if for some reason I don't have the whipped topping and I don't have the cherries, or if everyone that loved me in this world died and was no longer on this plane, because that's the only time they would stop loving me, if I lost all of that and didn't have any of that, I would still be one awesome frickin' spice cake. And that is my spice cake mantra. As I calmly look around at the world around me, because I am a being of love, I can't help but care about what's going on with others, that are outside of me. And I see that they're experiencing whatever they're experiencing in the world. I don't have any control over all that, and I release all that control. I no longer think that I can control what they're choosing, because I can't. And rather than focusing on trying to control, I do the only thing that I can do, and that is come back to my own business and send them love. And I can send them that love with no intentions. Maybe the only intention that I would have in sending it, if I want to focus on an intention, is that it would build their love for themselves. It would build up the love inside them. But I don't try to make it control and change things in their life or change the person or whatever. All I do is let that love flow into me, fill me up, and I send that love out to them. And as I release that unconditional love to them and see it go out there to help them, I become calmer in my heart. That fear of outcomes of whatever they're going through just becomes calm, because I release them into the greatest hands of all, and that's the unconditional, loving hands of the Creator. So I know they're in good hands, and I become calm. But in that moment too, something amazing happens, because I start to see with the eyes of unconditional love, and I see behind this character that this other person is playing to this higher person. There's this higher being, this higher actor that's behind the character, who's made of unconditional love. And I see that even if this character that I see on the physical plane, if they aren't aware of the love I'm sending to them, or they aren't accepting of the love that I'm sending them, it doesn't matter, because the higher being behind the person will accept it. In fact, I see them, smiling at me and nodding gratitude toward me for sending that love, because they will take that love and they will bring it into that life, into that heart, into that soul of that person, for whatever is the highest experience of that individual. And maybe that is that they remain sick for a while, or they experience heartache for a while, and because they wanted to feel like what it would feel like to feel less, or to be abandoned, or be cheated on, or betrayed, or to fear death, or to be ill. We don't know what that other person is wanting to experience, so why would I try to control what's going on in their life? I come back to my own business and send them love, and in that I find peace for myself. So whenever I'm feeling helpless or feeling out of control, that is what I try to come back to, and I try to do this kind of meditational, prayerful practice in sharing love, bringing love down from the Creator, focusing on the Creator first, and letting that love fill me up, fill me overflowing, to where I send that out to the world, and then I feel that love, return back in this wave back to me, because that's the fourth really thing that I realize, is that everything that's out there, every plant, every animal, every rock, everything is made of unconditional love, and it is sharing unconditional love. So when I send that love out, I get hit with this wave of love that comes back. And in that moment, I realized that no matter who I am, no matter where I am, I can make a difference by sharing love, because that is really the only thing that I can do for anything outside of myself. Really, that's the only thing that I can do that's of benefit to myself, is to allow myself to fill up with love and to share love in whatever way that I want to share unconditional love with the world. So hopefully that'll give you one tool in your giant tool chest of amazing gifts that you have for who you are and for what you can give the world. So until next time, just know that everything I do because I care about you. And I love you, all my sisters from a different mister and all my brothers from a different mother. And I hope that you are well and that you feel the love that I'm sending you right now. You take care.